Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 137. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this End is Nigh Wednesday evening, Earth date December 27th, 2017. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, my co-host, Brandon Full. I'm fucking full of energy, Brandon. What the fuck are you?
It appears the end is nigh.
The end is coming!
What's the end? What's the end that's coming? You son of a bitch.
The end of the year?
Oh.
The end of this podcast.
Oh. Surprise, listeners.
This is news.
Thanks for buying our shirts, assholes. That's us riding away on motorcycles.
Motorcycles that were paid for by not the shirts.
The shirts might have paid for an oil change.
Maybe. I don't know how much is an oil change nowadays. I do my own.
Like $35.
Okay, then no, it wasn't.
All of the shirts we've sold haven't paid for one oil change.
Considering the fact that I bought 3 myself, it doesn't really count.
Yeah, but that profit still goes into the Dueling Ogres coffers.
Which are my coffers.
We got to give the illusion that we're more successful than we are, Remington.
Why?
Because when we seem like we're pathetic, then people are like, oh, why would I listen to this podcast? They're pathetic.
But for the sheer pathetic factor. I thought that's what we were always going for, Brandon.
No, I think we've been on two different wavelengths here. Because people hear that you're successful and they want to support. They want to get behind something that's successful.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah.
I've never given anything to anybody successful.
So go ahead and try to sell the podcast as being successful.
Okay. We're the best around. That's what I'm thinking about. The best around. The go to keep you down.
See, I would 100% subscribe to this podcast now.
Well, good. I'm glad that I could bring success to our podcast.
I'll finally like the Facebook page.
Yes. So how have you been?
I've been pretty fantastic.
Good. How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was really good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got to spend a lot of time with my daughter, my girlfriend, and her kids. Got to see my family. I have a lot of family in. One of my sisters is in from New York. Another one's in from Australia. So,
oh man, everybody was in, were they?
Yeah, everybody's in.
Nice. Well, that's good.
What's wrong?
Oh, apparently I don't have this macro button macroed to the macro.
No.
That's all. Just that. No macros to macros.
How was your Christmas outside of macro problems?
Yeah, I'll fix it real quick while you're talking to me.
Well, that's pretty much it.
Well, that's not helpful at all, Brandon.
I do have to say, if I want to go with what my favorite Christmas gift was, though.
Uh-huh.
My girlfriend got me, I think I talked before about the Black Series Star Wars action figures. They're like, not 12-inch, I don't think. I think they're like 8.5, 6.5, something like that inch Star Wars figures. They're like $20-some. They're really nicely made figures, like cloth, clothing, highly collectible. Anyway, there's one that I've been wanting for quite a while. It's Darth Revan, who is the Darth from Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
I think on an earlier episode, I actually talked about how I was trying to hunt him down at NASA and I couldn't find him. But she managed to track it down and get me one off of eBay.
Well, that's really impressive.
Yeah, it's a figure I've been wanting for a while. They released an original Darth Revan in like the 3.5-inch size.
Yeah.
And that one's impossible to find unless you want to pay like $100-some.
Right.
So then when they did the Black Series figure, I was flipping out. I was going all over trying to find it and I just couldn't. Yeah. So this was probably a year or so ago and she just cataloged it in her head. And then when Christmas rolled around, she was like, oh yeah, I bet I could track something down for him. So she managed to track it down and order it for me.
Isn't that amazing how girls do that?
Yeah.
I have zero ability to remember that Ginger wanted said thing, 4 months ago or 6 months ago or 2 months ago or last week.
I know, dude, I'm so terrible at it. I have her the last couple years and it works so well for me is she just makes an Amazon wish list that's wildly over what I'm going to spend money-wise.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I pick out of that so she's surprised at what she's getting.
Yes, exactly. Ginger has her own little wish list, although she doesn't necessarily add things to it all the time. And it's getting to the point where she's going to have to go in and start adding a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Because I already got her a lot of what she had on her list.
Is it a cop-out on our part? Are we bad boyfriends?
I think what would make us truly bad boyfriends is if we just completely ignored that list.
And just bought them like pans and shoes?
Yes, makeups.
Yeah.
Lady things. Is that what we're going for, Brandon? Are we just going for the completely sexist?
No, I was going for like worst gifts, but shoes are pretty decent gifts.
Yeah, no, a good pair of shoes is like a good pair of tires.
Right, Grandpa. No, a good pair of shoes will last you a long time.
They will, if you're lucky.
So did you get your macro fixed?
No, I didn't, but I did get a new yoga mat and an exercise ball.
Oh, nice.
And a sewing machine.
You got a sewing machine?
Yeah, I did. My mom was like, I couldn't find any of your pants because I'm a big fat ass with short legs.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I found one pair and I couldn't find any other pairs that were available online or in stores. So I got you a fucking sewing machine so you can sew up your own goddamn pants. Which I think is pretty verbatim of what she said.
Are you going to just start making your own pants? Because that would be awesome.
I mean, I guess I could.
You should start like hodgepodging your pants together out of old t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah. I'm a little rusty. I'm a little rusty on a sewing machine. I haven't used one in years. Usually I just sew stuff up by hand because I'm old school.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never used a sewing machine either. I always do all my sewing by hand as well.
Yeah. Does it make you feel good that you're a male in the 21st century who knows how to sew?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Because if the end times were to come, some sort of revelation or apocalypse, I have very few skills that translate into survival.
Right.
Sewing is one of the few skills I have.
So at least you'll be able to make a small living off of sewing up other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. I have no idea. I mean, I could probably figure it out, but I have really no idea how to skin an animal.
I mean, I think you just take a knife and start sawing.
Yeah, well, cutting. Sawing is, you'd probably ruin the meat.
There's a lot of elbow work.
Yeah.
Yeah. You really got to get both elbows up as you skin.
Yeah. Just like that?
Yeah.
Is that the proper skinning motion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the listeners can't see it, but I'm really putting a lot of elbow work into this.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen elbow work. It's fascinating. The motion.
Now I'm kind of doing some 70s dance moves.
Yeah.
But it's all skinning. It's all involved in skinning.
It's like the Watusi,
The Bat Tootsie?
The Bat Tootsie, yeah. Really got to get those elbows up for the Bat Tootsie.
So one of the other things I got, my parents got me this hat from a street performer in New York when they went to visit my sister.
Okay.
And it's called a pook.
Okay. Is it like a toque, but only American?
It's a toboggan with two socks sewn onto the top that look like bunny ears that hang down.
Okay, so it is like a toque.
What is a toque?
A toque is the Canadian version of that.
Yeah, it is sort of like that. Let me see here if I can find it. If I just search pook. Yes. Okay, go to Google image search and search POOK hat. And it'll be the very first image that pops up.
Yeah.
So it's like a toboggan with socks sewn onto the top like bunny ears. And then it's reversible. And on the other side is a red flannel. So you can flip it inside out. And then the socks hang down like ear covers.
Right. So a toque is a type of hat that were popular from the 13th to the 16th century in Europe, especially France. The mode was revived in the 1930s. Now it's primarily known as traditional headgear for professional cooks. So that's like a cook's hat is also known as is that how you say it? Toque? Or is it toque?
Toque? I have no idea.
But
I assume this was pronounced pook and not pook.
Okay. And then the toque, which is like a slang that's kind of used in Canadian. That's where I first heard it, was like Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Oh, it's TOQUE for toque?
Yeah.
Okay, so this hat, regardless, this hat has like a billion different ways you can wear it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And it came with a piece of paper that tells you all the different ways. Like, you can take the socks and tie them into buns, and it's called the Princess Leia.
Right.
You can turn the socks inside out, and it's called the Shrek.
Yeah.
I love it, but it was such a perplexing gift. My mom manages to find me because I'm the weird kid of the family.
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently.
Yeah.
I know your entire family, and you're far from the weird one.
Yeah, I'm one of the least weird members of my family. I'm certainly the least weird male member of my family.
Yeah, I will absolutely give you that. Except for maybe your dad. Your dad doesn't really count, though.
Yeah, my dad does. I mean, with my siblings. My sisters are all less weird than I am.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom picks out these weird, and I just could not stop laughing that it's a hat she bought from a street performer. It was a person who, to be fair, was selling these hats.
Yeah.
But they were like doing tricks with the hats and then selling them to people.
Okay. Interesting, I guess.
So yeah, I got a New York street hat and I like it. Bree, the girlfriend, thinks it looks so dumb when I wear
it. So you wear it constantly, right?
Well, I don't know where it is. I'm hoping that she didn't throw it away.
Oh, man.
I had it on the dining room table and it's not there anymore. So, I mean, I'm sure she didn't actually throw it away, but I need to go on a hunt for it so I can wear it.
Yeah, you do.
Because don't get me wrong, I look stupid. I look stupid when I wear it, but it's fun and I kind of enjoy
it. I mean, if you were worried about looking stupid, then you'd actually wear matching socks.
Well, not that many people are seeing my socks, Remington.
Or shave your face.
Yeah, I would shave or comb my hair. Or bathe regularly.
Or, get some work done.
Put on some makeup, for God's sake.
Happy Christmas, Brandon.
Yeah. There's a gift to my self-esteem. Thank you.
Yeah, I got, man, I don't know. I don't even know what all I got. It was such a whirlwind the week of Christmas because we were baking cookies and wrapping presents and going to funerals and going to Christmases, and I by the end of the week I'm like, thank you, this is a gift, thank you, this is a gift, thank you, this is a gift.
Yeah, just burnt out.
Yeah, I was done.
Yeah, well, and then editing the podcast too, I'm sure, added on top of that.
Yeah, I did that as well. Man, I mean, honestly, the podcast, the Christmas podcast was not that difficult, really, compared to the rest of the week. There was a lot of standing and a lot of bending over tables and ovens and stuff like that. And it's just to wrap Christmas presents.
Okay.
When you're bending over just at a very slight angle, because you don't need to be really bent over. I feel that in my lower back immediately.
I wrap presents sitting cross-legged on my bed. I
can't do that.
Why not?
Because it's a different motion, but it actually causes. I have a bulging disc between L4 and L5. For those of you who don't know, and it really aggravates it. So the standing aggravates it, but sitting on the floor or sitting on my bed does it that much worse. If I'm just bending over to do something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it really, really aggravates it. So yeah.
Is the yoga helping with it?
Yeah, it definitely helps to stretch me out really well. I'm not doing anything particularly intermediate. It's all beginner stuff, and it's basically a stretching set.
Yeah.
As it were. So it's about the only one that I can do. I tried to move on to the next set because the app that I got has like a 10-day program, and you're supposed to go through all 10 days. But the second day's set was pretty difficult for me to do.
Okay.
So I'm just sticking to the first set until I get it down.
What was difficult about it?
I don't remember. It's some of the moves. Some moves in yoga are very difficult to do if you've got like 80 pounds of belly in front of you.
Oh, okay.
So there's that.
Yeah, I've looked at just like the most basic of yoga moves and have pretty much been like, man, this is good enough.
Yeah.
I could lay on my stomach with my arms to my sides. That's fine.
There you go. But cat stretches, and there's one where you go from cat pose to cow pose. So you have like the arched back. You're on your hands and knees, and you go to an arched back, and then you go, and then you dip your back, and that's cat and cow.
Okay.
And God, that one's fantastic on stretching out your spine.
So cow is just like your back's arched?
No, cow.
Or like your butt's arched up?
Yeah, cow. Your back is dipped, and your butt and your head are arching upward.
How is that a cow?
I don't know.
I want to call bullshit on yoga with that one.
Like, I don't know, man. I'm just doing my yoga. I'm not a yogi. Namaste, bitches.
Does ginger milk you?
Yes, but it's unrelated.
Unrelated to the pose, and I'll thank you to not pry any further into my life.
Indeed.
All right, so I have a couple news stories. I don't have that many, actually.
Yeah.
But they're all pretty major news stories.
This will probably be the last podcast of the year for us.
Yeah, well, it would be anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we'll probably just take it easy and just kind of bullshit around, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slow ride. Take it easy.
Yeah.
So, The Last Jedi. That's the first thing on the list. And there's not going to be any spoilers because Remington hasn't seen The Last Jedi.
No, I haven't. Do you
plan on seeing it?
If you want spoilers, go listen to Kapow the Pop Culture podcast. Apparently theirs is full of spoilers.
Okay. But listen to ours first, and if you have to pick, listen to ours exclusively, as always.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's been a lot of shit online about The Last Jedi.
Yes, I've heard that there's been quite a bit of vitriol. I think we talked about it a little bit either last episode or the episode before.
I don't think so. I don't think it was out.
Huh?
I don't think it was out. We might have talked about it before we started recording, but we didn't talk about it, I don't think, on the episode. Because it just came out like a week ago.
Yeah, it was, what was it, the 21st? 23rd?
22nd.
No, the 15th.
Was it?
I think so.
Damn, I don't know. Maybe we did. I don't know. Anyway, there's been a lot of talk about it, with some fans saying, oh, it's the worst Star Wars I've ever seen, and some people saying, oh, it's the best one, and it's way better than The Force Awakens.
Right.
I am right there in the middle. I'm leaning more towards it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for you to see it so we can talk about it a little bit, because there are issues with it. And there are some choices that are made that are very perplexing. Choices that are made with characters.
Okay.
That I can see where the hatred kind of comes from with it.
Yeah.
And the thing about the internet that drives me fucking insane is whenever The Force Awakens came out, it became the hipster thing to hate Force Awakens. Do you remember that? The hipster thing was everybody like, well, if you look at it, it's really just a reskinned A New Hope, and that's all it is, and it's not an original movie, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, now the hipster thing is to be like, The Last Jedi is really the greatest thing because it makes The Force Awakens irrelevant, and anybody who's complaining about it's just a whiny fanboy.
Huh.
Yeah, I've seen that argument a lot. And like I said, there's things with the movie after you see it that I definitely want to get into the nitty-gritty and discuss. Maybe not scene for scene, but just how you feel about certain stuff.
Right, yeah.
But because somebody doesn't like something doesn't necessarily mean... I don't hate Star Wars because there's parts of the movies that I didn't like or I think could have been done better. Right. I preferred Force Awakens over The Last Jedi.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that I'm a shitty Star Wars fan. And somebody who says something like that, that doesn't mean that they're not a true fan just because you have a different opinion.
Right.
These fucking internet geeks can just go to hell. They're all so elitist. Everybody is so elitist.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. Just, I don't know. Why do people have to have opinions? Why can't we all just be vanilla?
Because that would be so boring. Like, it's boring to just even talk to you most of the time because you're pretty vanilla.
Hey.
But you like it that way.
There's a little bit of chocolate in there. Maybe a touch of cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
A little star anise. Right there where my anise is.
Speaking of milking. Milk that anise.
Oh.
Do not turn that into a t-shirt, Remington.
Oh, come on.
Milk that anise.
Milk that anise. And it'll just be a star anise. Are you sure this can't be a shirt idea?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think there is a milk-based drink that has star anise in it.
I didn't even know star anise was a thing. I thought you were just pronouncing anus weird.
No, star anise is a spice.
Is it spelled like ANISE?
Yes. You're looking it up, aren't you?
I am looking it up. So what are... Yeah, it is. It's spelled star anise. Ooh, it is a star too. That's cool.
Yeah. Told you, man. I told you. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to food. Sometimes, sort of.
So as far as Last Jedi goes, since we're discussing it and I can wrap up since there's really not a whole lot to say without getting into spoiler territory.
Yeah.
What are your expectations of the movie? Since you're going to see it at some point, to kind of just get a general idea of what your expectations are going in so then we can talk about them after.
I mean, I figure that I'll probably end up enjoying it just like I do any other movie that has sci-fi / fantasy.
Well, do you have any predictions, like what's going to go on with Rey, if there's a reveal about her parents are, who Snoke is, what happens with Luke, stuff like that?
I think that her parents are porgs.
Okay. She had porgs?
Yeah, the porg. I think her dad is a porg, which is why there's a porg on the ship. That's actually her dad.
Okay.
And her dad is just constantly annoying Chewie. So.
Yeah.
And then I think Kylo Ren will ask for her hand in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll turn to the light side, and then she'll go dark side.
Okay. Why would they alternate like that?
Because, flip-flop seems like something that would happen. Because, plot twists.
Okay.
Everybody wants to be...
M. Night Shyamalan,
yeah. What they twist...
So what about Snoke? What's Snoke's?
Snoke turns out just to be a grumpy old man.
So there's no
he's not
backstory to him at all.
No, he's not force sensitive or anything. He's just a grumpy old man in a position of power. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
He uses magnetic fields to control people instead of the force.
So he's just an old man in a bathrobe shaking his fist at the galaxy.
Yeah, he's a grumpy mad scientist.
Telling those damn stars to turn down their music.
He was so jealous of all the Jedi for having this magical force power that he just used magnets to do it.
He invented magnets, actually. Sorry to spoil, but Snoke invented magnets.
Yeah.
That's why he's called Snoke.
Yeah.
Because Snoke is Star Wars for magnet.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Just like credits is for dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, Luke. What's your opinion on Luke? What do you think's going to happen with him?
I think it's not going to go the way that we think it is. I'm not. You're
just quoting things from the trailer, aren't you?
I'm not going to lie. I really didn't like that line. I didn't like the way he delivered it, and quite frankly, I'm a little put off that they put it into the trailer.
You're being serious?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I will say about the movie. What's perplexing is the movie goes for being humorous, but there are lines like that are delivered. The movie can't let anything be serious, at least in my opinion, because anytime there's a serious scene, anytime something major happens, it's immediately undercut by a little side comment, a little snarky joke or something.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a Star Wars movie, right?
Right, yeah.
There is a your mother joke in this movie.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
There is a who are you calling for? I'm calling to talk to your mother.
Huh.
Yeah, that opens the movie. This exchange opens the movie.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of set a precedent for me with it of like a look of puzzlement on my face through
right.
the opening with like, okay, they chose to open it with a really weird joke.
Okay, so I want to talk about this 10 minutes or 10 seconds of silence that happens. It's like this building tension or something that goes on, and apparently the AMC theater put a sign up in their theater that said, if you're watching The Last Jedi, there is an hour and 50 some seconds into the movie. There is a part where the director uses a moment of silence that goes on for about 10 seconds as a movie device.
Okay.
To build tension. Do you remember this? Did you find it unsettling? Did it go on for too long, do you think? Or do you think it was a good thing?
I would have to know what the scene is.
I mean, if you don't remember 10 seconds of silence in a movie...
Let me see real quick. Okay, it is what I thought it was.
Okay.
Yes, it is used to awesome effect.
Okay, so you liked it, but you weren't put off, like you realized that the sound in the theater didn't just cut out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's used like something... it's not otherworldly, but something very science fiction-y happens, and it's a huge thing that happens. And it's something we've never seen in a Star Wars movie before. Okay. So something like this happening could very well be silent, and it's honestly one of my favorite 10 seconds in the Star Wars movie. One of my favorite scenes is when this happens.
Gotcha. So, okay, so this is one of your favorite scenes in a Star Wars movie?
Yes.
Out of
the way that it's shot.
The way that it's shot out of all of the movies?
Yes.
Not just the new ones?
Right.
I hit the microphone.
God.
You have to look out for the microphone, Brandon.
The last, 40 minutes of the movie is fucking awesome. And like I said, I'm leaning more towards, I liked the movie. It had its problems, but I liked The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But the last bits, the last fighting and the stuff that happens, because this 10 seconds of silence happens kind of close to the end of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, an hour and 50 some seconds in is what it said, so I figure it's pretty close to the end. There's this built-in climax, and then just shit hitting the fan, I can assume.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
But what was the notice about? Just basically telling people?
Yeah. Now, apparently the AMC theater has, in this one particular theater anyway, I'm not sure if it was all of them, but in one particular theater, they had actually lost audio for the first 10 seconds of another movie, or 10 minutes of another movie, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And they wouldn't refund anybody. They said you can watch the later one if you want, or I don't remember now. I don't remember where the article was that I was reading, and I'm just going off of what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
So, now, I got the sense that your girlfriend didn't care for it.
Oh, she hated it.
Did she?
Yes.
Is it because she has no taste?
No, no, she... Fortunately, she does not listen to the podcast.
Sometimes she does.
Let that slide. She didn't like the direction they took with Luke.
Ah, okay.
And that's one of the problems that I had with it, is the direction they took with Luke.
Yeah.
And before the movie came out, I don't think we ever really covered it, but there was a lot of news of Mark Hamill on tour before this movie came out saying, when I read the script, I hated it, and I hated what they did with Luke, and it was not in a million years what I would have done with Luke, but I trusted Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see why. I was honestly getting tired of reading these articles about Mark Hamill saying this stuff. Just okay, Mark, just let us see the fucking movie.
Right.
Yeah. The Luke in this movie is not the Luke from the old movies.
He's not my Luke.
I would say. And that's debatable. And that's where a lot of nerds get into the nerd argument. And there could be nerds out there that would be rolling their eyes right now at me for saying that. I've seen long fucking diatribes about how this Luke is actually the old Luke and blah, blah, blah.
So, okay. So I have kind of an inkling of how the story goes, at least with Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, since I haven't seen it, I guess I can't really give away spoilers, so I'm not going to dive too deep. But the thing that I will keep in mind for me whenever I watch the film is it's been many, many, many years since Luke has even been around people. I mean, he's removed himself. He's become a hermit.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to have anything to do with anybody anymore, or anything for that matter. He just wants to die in peace. Because from what I have gathered, some shit has hit the fan. It's really scarred him, and I don't know. So it's talked about in The Force Awakens, and it was also before the movie came out. He gave this information in an interview about why Luke has exiled himself. So yeah. I can say it and remind you if you want me to, okay. Or if you don't remember, then it's not really spoilery because the information was out there before the movie came out. Right. No, go ahead.
Kylo Ren was training with Luke, Kylo Ren turned to the dark side and destroyed the Jedi temple Luke was training Kylo at. And Kylo Ren killed a bunch of other people that Luke was training.
Right.
So Luke feels responsible, and that's why he has exiled himself. Because he sort of created Kylo Ren.
Which isn't that kind of like the story with Jace and like from before canon or new canon.
Oh, Jace and Jaina?
Yeah.
And Anakin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was
I can't remember. You're right, but one of them does go bad.
Yeah, I think it was Anakin. It was either
I think so. He was the youngest of them.
Yeah, it was either Jace or Anakin, but I'm pretty sure it was Anakin. So, to me, I mean, yeah, they're it sounds very much like they're borrowing elements from from old canon.
Yeah.
And just reinventing them, which is fine. I mean, I'm glad that those stories are getting used because they're good stories. But at the same time, I think that when something like that happens to somebody and you're so close with their family, and this is basically a nephew, you know, and shit hits the fan, and then you remove yourself from society because not only you didn't just create a bad egg, you created a really bad omelet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can see where Luke is coming from, where he just doesn't want to fucking do any of this. I've seen power like this only once before.
Yeah, he doesn't want to. Just doesn't want anything to do with the Force anymore. Like, that's why he's on this island. So when Rey comes to want to train, obviously you can see this in the trailers. He doesn't want to train her because he just wants nothing to do with the Force. He's just like, I fucked it up. The Force isn't great. The Force causes all kinds of issues. I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. And I think
that's what my girlfriend had issues with Luke about.
Yeah.
That he wasn't the kind of like savior, hopeful Luke that he was in the original trilogy.
Yeah, well, I mean, time makes bitter misers of us all.
Yeah, you would have to see the movie to really, because you're only hearing what I'm saying and from what you've seen in the trailers.
Yeah.
There's a lot about his character that I'm not getting into to not spoil things.
Yeah.
There's a lot more there than just him not wanting to train her.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to the bitterness of his character than what I'm describing.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff that I'm not fully sinking in, but that isn't fully sinking in because I haven't seen it. But I mean, at least from what I can figure, I could see where somebody just wouldn't want to be a part of this anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just the reason that Ben turns to Kylo is stupid. It's just, there's some stupid parts.
The other thing that I can get behind is Luke never finished his training, which is also something. So, I mean, Luke grew up in quotes, or, well, even in reality, I guess, but he grew up in a period where Jedi was not a word that you used. Jedi had been all but wiped from the face of the universe.
Yeah.
So a farm boy way out on Tatooine had maybe ever heard an inkling of a Jedi.
Yeah, I can't remember if he'd even heard of Jedi when Obi-Wan.
And he got some very brief training, just some snippets really from Obi-Wan. And then he went to Yoda, never finished his training, tried to come back. So, I mean, he didn't really have a good grasp of, I mean, there's a lot that went into the training. If we look at the animated series and the ones that had come before, where we got to see a lot of stuff about the Academy, the Jedi Academy and all of that.
Yeah. And
how the Jedi Order worked. Yeah, there was a lot of netting for you to fall into to grasp the understanding of not just the Force, but the politics of the universe and, you know, dealing with battles or death or people verging off from the light to turn to the dark. You know,
Oh, you can go ahead and finish your thought.
Luke had this little microcosm, this little taste of light side and dark side. And he had his own little battle within himself, but he didn't see really, apart from Anakin as Darth Vader and then Palpatine, he didn't really see what the true power of the dark side was.
Yeah.
I mean, then the 1 through 3, we really see this deep, rotting, twisted deception that the dark side is. That 3 through 6 or 4 through 6, we really don't actually see.
Yeah, all you see is Vader and Palpatine.
Yeah, and I mean, all of the subterfuge of the dark side is really lost in 4 through 6 because at this point the dark side is kind of ruling the galaxy.
In this movie, they do some interesting stuff with the idea of light side and dark side, and I would definitely give it that. They take light side and dark side in a direction, honestly, that I think you would really enjoy.
Yeah.
And kind of exploring the gray areas and how it's not as simple as just you're either light side or your dark side, because there's so much that flows through everybody all the time.
Oh yeah, there's a whole lot of that's really kind of touched upon in Rebels.
Well, wasn't Ahsoka, or what was her name?
Yeah, Ahsoka kind of went middle of the road for a little while. Okay. Then we have the Bendu, which was this giant creature who was voiced by one of the Doctor Who's, Baker. I forget what his first name is. Tom Baker, I think?
Yes.
Voiced by him. And the Bendu is kind of outside of the light and the dark. He's more of this just being who's just in touch with the Force. He is an amalgamation of the Force.
Okay.
Seems like. So.
Well, and Luke, this is where I'm of two minds, because you made some good points with him not finishing his training. In Jedi, he's still kind of impetuous, but he's also powerful. And it's kind of like with Force Awakens, where you see Han, and it's a little bit of a bummer that the last time we see him, he's with Princess Leia and everything's great. And then when we see him in Force Awakens, it's just like, oh, you guys got divorced and now you're just a shitty smuggler again? That kind of sucks.
Yeah, right.
Like, I want to see Han maybe with Leia a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that with Luke, of like, yeah, maybe he didn't finish his training, but he ran a Jedi temple. So presumably he is a Jedi who is trained well enough to train other young Jedi.
Yeah. Right.
And there's more, they kind of go into what the Jedi temple was and how he's training them. So again, I'm walking on eggshells to not give stuff away, but there's more there with that too.
Yeah. And I'm sure, I mean, well, that's the other thing, is never finishing your training and then training others going in blind. It's like a teacher who knows that E equals MC squared.
Like, they don't know what E is?
Yeah. Like he doesn't know what E is, or doesn't know what C is.
Well, but he kind of does finish his training though.
Yeah.
You'll have to see in the movie. He basically buys an entire set of Encarta. Yeah. And he just goes through and you see him. It's a really great, that's what the 10 seconds of silence is. Yeah. Is him changing out those CDs.
I got you.
And just clicking through and like, Big Ben. Huh. Interesting.
Right. No, it makes perfect sense now. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Remington, speaking of things in the stars.
Yeah.
Our government basically admitted that there are aliens.
Okay.
What do you think about that story?
I didn't see this story, so why don't you enlighten me?
Okay, so there was, the New York Times ran an article December 16th, so it's been a little bit at this point. And this is what's fucking crazy, is that nobody really cares about this story at all.
Yeah.
They did an article called Glowing Auras and Black Money, the Pentagon's Mysterious UFO Program. So the New York Times came out with this really in-depth article, and you can read it. I would recommend reading it. It's really interesting. That there is a yearly budget of $22 million that's in the black budget. Are you familiar with the black budget? I think we've talked about it before.
Yeah, we have.
It's the money the government spends that they don't put on the record. There's just a huge certain chunk of money the government spends that they're like, we don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
22 million of that was spent on a program called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program.
Okay.
It ran from 2008 to 2011, and they've said that it's no longer going on.
Okay.
However, the former head of the program, his name was Luis Elizondo, recently stepped down. This is where the New York Times got a lot of this information from. The fucking head of the program stepped down because he said that he didn't like all the secrecy surrounding the program.
Okay.
So the official government report says they shut down this program in 2011. Luis says, no, I literally stepped down. I have a successor. The program is still going on, and it's been ongoing for a while.
Yeah.
So he says we may not be alone. He says that he saw enough proof to say that there were aliens.
Uh-huh.
The money from the program was given to a company called Bigelow Aerospace.
Okay.
And Bigelow Aerospace had a bunch of buildings that they were using to store what they said, this is a quote, what the company was using. The company modified buildings in Las Vegas for the storage of metal alloys and other materials that Mr. Elizondo and program contractors said had been recovered from unidentified aerial phenomena.
Huh.
So the company that the government was paying for this aerospace threat identification program has buildings full of metal alloys that they don't know what they are.
Okay.
From things from space.
Okay.
They also officially released a video of 2 jet fighters seeing a UFO, and they're following beside it, and you hear them talking to each other, and they're like, bro, we don't know what this thing is. And it looks like a tic-tac kind of flying in a wheel.
Okay.
And it's keeping pace with them, and it's like zigging around, and they're like, this thing is flying against the wind. There's no way something like this could fly. It's like a 1.5 minute long video.
Okay.
And they released that as part of like, yep, here's some of the stuff we have on file that we just have no idea what the fuck it is.
I feel like I saw maybe that video.
You may have. I think they released that in August.
Okay.
As kind of like a lead up to it.
Huh.
So I have another quote from Harold E. Puthoff, who is an engineer who has conducted research on extrasensory perception for the CIA, and he later worked as a contractor for the program working with these special alloys. He says regarding the alloys, we're sort of in the position of what would happen if you gave Leonardo da Vinci a garage door opener. First of all, he'd try to figure out what is this plastic stuff. He wouldn't know anything about the electromagnetic signals involved or its function.
Right.
So he's saying they have these alloys that are probably or very well could be something way more expansive than what they even know. They're trying to even figure out what the alloy is, like what they're even made of before they can figure out anything else.
Right. Huh. I don't think it's any secret that I believe that there are extraterrestrials. Or I believe that there's a possibility of extraterrestrials. Even intelligent life that has been to this planet before. Because
but I mean, that's what's crazy is this basically is the government coming out via the New York Times, who kind of broke the story, that the government thinks that there are aliens as well.
Yeah.
And that they have a program still in place, and the head of the program stepped down and is doing interviews and shit. The guy looks like the lead singer of Smash Mouth, by the way. It's hilarious. He's like a big dude with a big soul patch and like spiked up hair.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, somebody once told him that the world was going to roll him.
Yeah, but he is the sharpest tool in the shed.
Apparently.
Because he was in the Pentagon.
Yeah. Speaking of alien craft, though. Hold on, I have a phone call coming in. I don't know who it is. Really? Apparently the Hilton Hotel has chosen me to have a complimentary stay, even though it was like a cell phone number. 304.
Why would you hang up, though?
304-615-2050. Fucking schemy bastards.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They just spoof local numbers.
Yep. That's bullshit. If you're a company out there, don't fucking spoof local numbers and then con people into answering them. That's bullshit. I wasn't happy the last time I stayed at a Hilton. Why would I start now?
Really?
Yep.
What happened at the Hilton?
I think the last time I stayed at a Hilton was when we went to the Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah. God.
Yep. So anyway, speaking of space news, space stories, December 22nd, Southern Californian residents saw a bright object moving rapidly, leaving a teardrop-shaped plume behind it. which, of course, everybody saw and was like, oh my gosh, what is this thing? Is it a UFO? What is it? Turned out to be a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base.
Okay.
So if you have a chance, the pictures of it are beautiful, where you see this thing blasting through the sky and it's just leaving this massive plume of stuff behind it as it cuts through the atmosphere. If you look up a fella called Jeremy Perez, he's a amateur astronomer and photographer. Apparently he created a nice time-lapse picture of it, which I don't have in front of me right now, so I haven't seen it, but if Brandon finds it.
Yeah, I found it. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. So,
It looks like a balloon. Oh, no, it's a video. You can go on YouTube and see the time-lapse photo.
Yeah.
It's like a 7-minute video.
Gotcha.
So what's the significance of this?
Just the tying it into a UFO story, really, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, the significance of this is this launch put 10 Iridium Next satellites into space, and this makes SpaceX the first company to reuse the same booster in another launch. Usually you don't recover that first stage booster. And in fact, this time they did not recover it. So,
you know what's crazy about all of this, I have to say, and it couldn't have worked out better. Remember, probably like a month or two ago, maybe even longer than that, we were talking about if aliens landed in America, and I was saying how 2 days tops people would be back to doing their jobs and shit.
Yeah.
I read a story to you that the Pentagon confirmed that they have alien alloys, shit from alien crafts, in a warehouse. Almost 90% definitive proof that there are aliens who have visited us.
Right.
And you were like, well, you know what my feelings on aliens are. Anyway, speaking of space news, like nobody gives a shit. It's fucking crazy.
Here's the thing between science fiction and the mistrust that we all in America have of our government nowadays. It's not a surprise when some clandestine shit gets revealed to the public. So, I mean, while I think I think it's very interesting, it's not 100% definitive proof of anything, really. It's one guy who came out who said he was part of a thing. That's happened before. They usually either get silenced or people downplay what they have to say, or the government releases just enough information to be like, and then we go about our daily lives like you said. Yeah,
but this isn't like some dude who on his deathbed says he was part of some research thing. This is a dude who literally stepped down from the program and then immediately went to the New York Times.
I don't remember what the guy's name was, but there was another gentleman who worked, this was in the 90s, I think, late 80s, early 90s, who worked for Boeing or something like that, and came out and told insane stories about working on extraterrestrial aircraft. He was always afraid for his life. And he tried to get word out there for, God, I think it was months to a couple of years before he finally, I can't remember if he died or if he just dropped off the face of the earth or if people discredited him enough to where he stopped. I can't remember his name, but I mean, this has been in specials that I've watched.
Okay.
So I mean, to me, it's not really a huge surprise. I want it to be true, but it's kind of like believing in Jesus. If I don't see it with my own two eyes, then
you're just going to be a doubting Thomas about this, Remington?
Yeah.
Where's your sense of wonder?
My sense of wonder is hidden just behind my sense of skepticism. The wonder is there. The little kid in me is like, man, I really hope aliens exist. And then the adult in me is like, well, nobody's ever going to fucking tell you the truth, so you just better get over it.
I mean, this is pretty much the biggest proof that we've ever had, though.
Yeah, it is. But it's still, like you said, it's only 90%. That's 10%. 10%'s a lot, Brandon.
The New York Times is no slouch. When New York Times runs an article, the New York Times tends to have their facts in order.
I only make 5% commission, so there's that.
You only make 5% commission?
On average.
On what? Mattress?
On beds, yep.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm just saying 10%'s a lot because I'd rather be making 10%. I don't know.
Okay, fine. Let's get back to a more boring Earth story for you, Remington. If you don't give a shit about aliens.
I do give a shit about aliens. I just want to see one.
No, it's fine. You put a bullet in this story. Buried it.
Can you just show me an alien, Brandon?
We haven't seen aliens yet.
Well,
but they have a fucking building full of alien ships and stuff.
They have a building full of alloys.
That they can't identify.
That doesn't mean shit to me.
You don't think that there's an alloy on this planet that they can't identify, though?
Oh, yeah. I absolutely believe that there's an alloy that they can't identify. We find out new things all the time.
I did read an article. I thought I saved the quote, but apparently I didn't, on Science America, where there was a scientist who was giving a counterpoint to the story.
Yeah.
And he went into the details about how there's no way they wouldn't be able to tell what an alloy is. And he said there's a way that they do it with radio waves, I think, or X-rays, where they scan it and they measure the atoms and they can tell whether it's crystalline or some other sciencey words I don't know.
Yeah, they could tell the structure of an alloy.
And from that they can get a general idea of the makeup.
Yeah. Because an alloy is an amalgamation of two different substances.
Yeah, it's like steel or copper or something like that.
Well,
brass.
Steel is an alloy of its own.
Yeah, steel is an alloy, though.
Yes. Copper is an alloy. Brass is an alloy. Copper is not.
Okay, yeah, I know that from playing modded Minecraft. You can mine copper, but you can't mine brass. You have to make brass.
Yeah, brass is copper and tin?
Yes.
I think. Don't ask me about my metallurgy. It's
But this scientist was saying that for them to say that there's all these unknown alloys makes no sense. Because he said anybody who's graduated with a degree in radiocarbon dating or anything like that,
right,
would be able to look at it and scan it and at least figure out sort of what's in it.
Yeah, I mean, the rebuttal to that is where the way that he phrased it could be suspect, where he said there are alloys that we don't know what they are. What he may mean by that is he's never seen amalgamations like this. They may know what the components of the alloy are, but they've never seen these alloys meshed this way. They have no idea how they could have gotten meshed that way. And we have universal forces that literally cause fission inside of a star. So these could be alloys that were naturally formed via pressure or explosion, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I follow you.
So saying that something is an alloy, now saying that something is a crafted alloy, now you've got something interesting. Now you've got something that piques my nerd meter, right? If it is a constructed alloy, that means it's refined. That means it's finished. That means it's something that is used to build something else.
Yeah.
So
with the quote about contractors said had been recovered from unidentified aerial phenomenon, I didn't copy it, but it goes on to say that they were also doing tests on people who claim to have interacted with these aerial phenomenon.
Okay.
So there was also a branch that were talking to people who said, and doing tests on people who said they were abducted, right. Probably pilots in the Air Force, Navy, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, I know the pilots have seen some crazy, crazy things while they've been up there. And there's always the people who have claimed an abduction of some sort. And, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the skeptic in me, because people are not trustworthy even if they truly believe what they are saying.
What do you mean?
Just like there are people out there who believe that they've been abducted by aliens, and they may have and they may not have, but they literally, they believe in their heart of hearts that they have been.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
But it could be some very peculiar subsect of the human mind that is planting these crazy things in. And then that's an entirely different rabbit hole that we can go down forever, because then we have the cases that that doctors have found strange objects inside of people, and this and that and the other. So that's a whole different conversation for a different world, or a different show maybe.
Boy, so are you finished shitting all over my alien story then?
I wasn't shitting.
You just flew straight up into space with these aliens that you claim don't exist and just dropped a deuce straight from space, meteor style, right onto my laptop.
Oh, I was hoping onto your chest, but okay.
No, that's after show. That's Dueling Ogres After Dark.
There you go.
Dueling Ogres After Cave. I don't think we could get much more vulgar if we did like an After Dark show.
Yeah,
I talk about as vulgar on the podcast as I do in real life.
Yeah. This is pretty much what you get.
Yeah, I feel like if you listen to the podcast, you know mostly what it would be like hanging out and talking with us.
Right.
Okay, back to my other more boring Earth-based story for you, Remington. I'm sure you saw about Apple being hit with lawsuits over their iPhones slowing them down.
I heard about the story where they came out saying that they finally admitted to slowing down iPhones.
Yeah.
Yes.
The thing is, they're slowing down older iPhones because the batteries on these iPhones slowly wear out.
Yes.
So they're slowing down the iPhones so they consume less battery power and last as long. They just run slower.
Right.
So what do you think of this? Nefarious?
I think that if that is the true reason why they were slowing the phones down, I think transparency from the beginning should have been something that was discussed.
Yeah, I think, and I'm no fan of Apple at all, but I think that was their biggest issue, was transparency.
Yeah. I mean, if people have gravitated to being such a personal thing for them, you know, a phone is as much of a person nowadays as wearing pants are.
Yeah.
Like it's something that we always have on us. We always have in front of our face, to a certain extent, at least.
Like our pants.
Like our pants. So it's something that we always have on us. If we forget it, we go back to get it. That happened today. My assistant manager was running a little behind because he forgot his phone and he needed to go back and grab his phone real quick.
Yeah, I mean, we're tied to him.
Yeah, I mean, for better or worse, that is the case. So when a company who has released said device does something in such a way where people notice, I mean, obviously people have noticed over the years, because they notice that their phone is slowing down. And then we finally, after all these years, get a straight answer where they're just updating their software to slow down older phones to try and conserve battery life. You should have told us that from the get-go. Like, when you first decided that this was something that you were going to do, Apple, you should have came out and said, hey, BT dubs, everybody, if you're still rocking that 5S, just to let you know, it's going to slow down a bit as time goes on because we're conserving battery life.
Yeah.
And if you get your battery replaced, it'll speed back up again and you'll be good to go.
But I don't think it works that way. I think
that they were releasing a patch that if you had your battery replaced,
it'll speed back up. Oh, okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that, though. I thought that I read that.
There's 2 lawsuits being filed. Both of them are trying to become class action lawsuits. And the lawsuit that I was reading about specifically that came out of Illinois says that iPhones were engineered to purposely slow down or throttle down the performance speed. This needlessly subjects consumers to purchasing newer and more expensive iPhones when a replacement battery could have allowed consumers to continue to use their older iPhones.
Yeah.
So Apple really fucked themselves on the transparency thing there.
I will agree with that. I mean, I don't know if it's something that... No, I take that back. I think that the whole reason why they didn't say anything until now was because they wanted you to buy a new iPhone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no way that they can argue they didn't.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just straight bullshit. So, I mean, there was a part of me that was going to go on the defensive about being a lawsuit, but no, I kind of have to get behind the lawsuits. I mean, you're not providing enough transparency to your consumer. And, consumers don't need to know everything that's going on inside of their device or inside of but I mean, if it affects the performance of the device or if it affects the privacy of the device, then yeah, you absolutely need to go, you need to know about it.
Yeah, well, and it's like, has not been a secret that that's what they've been doing.
Right. But I mean, to be fair, all of the Apple Knights out there, or Appleites, or iPhoneites, I mean, they always want to go buy the new damn thing anyway.
Yeah.
At least a lot of them. I mean, there are a lot of people out there who still are rocking. 5S, of all the iPhones, I liked the build of the 5S the best.
Yeah, the 5S was a nicely built phone.
It was a very well built phone. I liked that. The 5 was kind of the earlier version of it. With the 5S, you got the fingerprint touch in the home button.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. So it did make it a little harder to work on because you had to be a little more careful, because if you broke that ribbon cable that held the home button on, then you were kind of SOL. You couldn't replace it.
Yeah.
But it was easy to work on. It was very sturdy. I mean, you really had to abuse that thing. Now, the 5C was a lot easier to work on, but it was a hell of a lot cheaper, too. Plastic outer case. The digitizer would pop up out of the front if you dropped it the right way. And you couldn't if you tried to push it back in yourself, you were going to fuck up your screen.
I don't know. iPhones are just, and we've talked about iPhones and Apple ad nauseum, at least I know I have, that they're just status symbols, I feel like. And they're starting to die down as status symbols. I think people are starting to catch on to Apple. You're still going to have your early adopters. You're still going to have your Apple fanboys, especially with MacBooks and stuff. That's never going to go away. But with iPhones, it seems like more people, at least in my circle, the people I know who are diehard holdout iPhone people, like my older brother is an iPhone snob, iPhone guy to the end. He's going Android with his next phone.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just it. Used to be that iPhones were the cutting edge of cellular devices.
Yeah.
That's just not the case anymore. I mean, you've got the same kind of power. You've got in some cases better power and RAM and the ability to add external memory, in Android devices, in many of them. Samsung for a hot minute did away with that, and the outcry caused them in their next iteration to bring it back.
Yeah.
So was that the iPhone, or was that the Galaxy 6 and then into the 7 they brought it back, or was it the 7 and then the 8? I think it was the 6 into the 7.
I'm not sure. I honestly, once I stopped working at the last job, I stopped following phone news completely.
So I can't remember exactly which one it is. I mean, full disclosure, I've always been a Samsung guy myself when it comes to my cellular devices.
Mm-hmm.
But I just this past year bought a Samsung phone.
Yeah.
Like I had been rocking their tablets, their mini tablets, the 7-inch tablets for many years. And then my daily driver phone was an LG Rumor Touch with a full QWERTY slide out keyboard.
Yeah. Your phone was fucking ancient.
That I literally had for like 15 years. I even replaced the screen in that bitch once. And the battery, I think.
Yeah.
But I moved up. I finally moved up to an S8, and I mean, the pictures are glorious. It moves fluidly. I've got all kinds of things going on it. I have access to all of our social media platforms and ways to put stuff out. I get all of our emails come to my phone at any given moment. I mean, I've got my finger on the pulse of Dueling Ogres on my mobile device.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's important to me.
So do you think that you will upgrade your phone now? Like,
no,
not anytime soon, but
but that's the other thing. No, I don't. I will hold on to the Galaxy S8 until, I have to implant a chip into my brain to access my email.
Are you on a plan?
Yes.
So you didn't buy your phone outright. Your phone is like folded into your plan?
Yes.
So you won't upgrade when they're like, hey, the S9, you can pay the same price?
Probably not. No, I'll probably hold on to the upgrade until like the last possible minute, because you don't lose the upgrade. You still have the ability to upgrade.
Yeah.
So I'll just wait until the S8 no longer serves my purposes. And I don't
see. I turned into a total phone whore. I thought that I would be like, when I started my last job I worked at, I got a Moto G phone, and it was the first touchscreen I owned, and it blew my mind. And within like 3 months, I was like, fucking 4-inch screen, this thing's bullshit. And like, I'd upgraded. I think I've gone through like 5 different phones now.
Yeah.
That I just continue to swap out, because I'm like, man, this phone's getting old. Like, the phone I have now is a ZTE Warp Elite.
Yeah. And
it was a good phone a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And this phone can still serve me perfectly fine, but I find it slowing down on my web browser. 10 seconds I have to wait on something. Right. And I'm like, oh my God, I need another phone. 2 gigs, it's ridiculous on a phone.
Yeah, I mean, I've got expandable memory in my S8. I've replaced the screen on it once already. So that was fun. That was $260 of greatness.
Yeah.
And for any of you do-it-yourselfers, it's kind of a bitch to replace the screens in those things. So you have to really kind of know what you're doing and trust yourself. And because, I mean, even the back is a curved glass.
Yeah.
So you have to remove the back in order to get to the components to take the front screen off.
God, man, I'm jealous of your phone. I love the Galaxy phones.
Yeah.
If your phone were a woman, I would treat it nicely.
Right. And so, I mean, even having a Samsung is not without its faults, but I've never liked Apple because of its lack of flexibility.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to access, I mean, I can access my computer from anywhere in the world on my phone. And could I have done that with an Apple? I know that there are apps out there, but I have so much more control over everything on an Android device. And if I really want to get funky with it, I can root the goddamn thing and have even more control.
Yeah, good luck trying to do that with an Apple. I don't know if you can. Yeah. I mean, probably you can, but
not that I have ever heard of.
Yeah. All right, so for my last story here, this is just a real quick one. There's a company called Retrobit that makes retro controllers and peripherals and stuff.
Okay.
They just entered into a collaboration with Sega that they're going to start making accessories and peripherals, so controllers and things, for the Sega Genesis, the Sega Dreamcast, and the Sega Saturn.
Oh, nice.
So that's interesting, not only that they're going to be making these controllers again, it's strange timing considering the Nintendo Classic, the Genesis Classic, the Super Nintendo Classic all came out.
Yeah.
If they release a Dreamcast Classic, or if they just do a limited run of Dreamcasts or Sega Saturns, that would be fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it would. I mean, they're just trying to cash in on the nostalgia of it all, and I get that. But, the Dreamcast was, we've talked about this probably ad nauseum before in several different episodes, but the Dreamcast was way ahead of its time as far as a system goes.
Yeah, the Dreamcast was a great system.
I mean, you had network capabilities, you had a controller that had like a mini screen that you could drop inside of it and save your games on and go to someone else's house and play it on their system. I mean, the fact that consumers didn't see the full capabilities of that, honestly, I think was just a drop of the ball in marketing.
Yeah, it was too little too late.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I just jumped on eBay or on Amazon while you were talking. You can get a Sega Saturn controller, not new, but a Sega Saturn controller official for $20. You can get an official Sega Dreamcast controller, again, not new, for $10 on Amazon. So Retrobit, these controllers are going to be $20, $25 guaranteed.
Yeah.
So I guess the only benefit is that they're going to be totally new.
Yeah.
You're going to know that they're new.
Yeah, you're going to know that they're new. They haven't been played with. They're not, reconditioned.
Yeah.
And that being, well, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. It depends on how many $10 Dreamcast controllers you can find. And also, will the people who have those up right now, will they be offering them for a 20 or 25 price point when these things hit the market?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So they may raise the price of them. They may not. A lot of people are just trying to get rid of this stuff so it's not sitting around their house. But
all this fucking milking of nostalgia is killing me. It's killing all of the things I love.
You're just suffering from a nostalgia overload.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean,
and especially because of the retro games and how they're so popular now, which raises the fucking price of everything beyond what I want to pay.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. This is the first time that we've really seen such a resurgence of nostalgia stuff. I mean, that's so poignant. Like it's existed in the past, but there has been so many new technologies released in the last 30 years that technology nostalgia is something that's very, I mean, people were enjoying this 15, 20 years ago, these things when they first came out. So it, as opposed to earlier technologies where, we saw it moving at a much slower pace. So you couldn't cash in on the nostalgia so much because there was a larger time gap in between. So the older people looking back to a nostalgic time with, say, I don't know, like an 8-track or something like that, nobody wants that anymore because there was too much of a time gap between that and, say, CDs that...
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. So I think we're living in a time where nostalgia, the time frame between what is nostalgic to us is a lot shorter than what it used to be. So it's a lot easier to cash in on. Yeah.
And we have shorter attention spans and we have the internet, so we can immediately find somebody online and be like, "Oh man, do you remember this thing?"
What's that? I was just watching Grumpy Cat.
Fucking Grumpy Cat. All right. Do you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I have other articles, but I honestly didn't get around to reading them at the moment because this was kind of almost a last minute kind of like, hey, when do we want to record? Oh, I don't know. I'm working, so
yeah,
I made it work.
We went real loosey goosey.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll wrap up the show there, and then we'll go into talking about other things, maybe at the turn of the new year. Yeah, Brandon?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978-DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. Haven't had anybody call in for a while. You should probably do that.
Do it.
Or text us. You can text us at that number. I'll get it.
Just remember, the kissing must stop.
The kissing has to stop. I thought that would be a good shirt too, but it was a little too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I would have been on top of it and released that for a Christmas shirt.
Maybe next Christmas.
Maybe. If we remember. We probably won't.
No, we won't remember.
But speaking of the shirts, I mean, they're still on sale for the next 3 days. So 3 or 4 days. So if you want one at the $16.99 price point, get on over and get it. Because I won't run that sale again for another few months, I figure.
Yep. Pick her up.
Pick her up.
Get her done.
Get it. Yep.
God.
You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres, email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the Facebook page like these nice people.
So the Diamond Man, Stephen Hines, commented, not on last episode, but the episode before where we talked about San Diego Comic-Con. He said, "Sorry it's been so long since I commented last." It's okay, Stephen. We forgive you. This was another stellar episode. I don't know if he was doing a play on words with stellar because we talked about space stuff. I hope he was. He is a writer, so I would like to think he did. As for the SDCC BS, that's nothing but greed. It's not like that show is hurting for cash. SDCC is Hollywood's bitch, yet they had to go after SLCCC. That's almost as evil as when Marvel buried the poor guy who invented Ghost Rider with a lawsuit for drawing his own character. So you countered with, I haven't seen this story, but you countered with SLCC was driving a heavily branded vehicle around during San Diego Comic-Con.
Right.
What was going on with that?
That apparently Salt Lake City Comic-Con was, during San Diego Comic-Con, was driving around their branded vehicle around town.
Advertising like, hey, if you like this Comic-Con,
Yes.
check out this one.
Yes.
They're stirring the shit there.
Yeah, and I mean that's part of it, and that's where I kind of like I'll find myself siding with San Diego Comic-Con in this respect, because that's some underhanded play. I mean, you're trying to feed off of the fan base for another Comic-Con, and it shouldn't. Comic-Cons aren't about that. It's not
underhanded play or healthy competition, though.
I think that's underhanded play. A healthy competition would be getting a hold of San Diego Comic-Con and saying, hey, we're running this Comic-Con. It's going to be a little bit later. Then, maybe we can work something out to where you can work us into the flyer or into the brochure, or I can have a booth there. And I understand that these are things where people make money, but they're also very much for the fans. So try to keep these things as open to each other as possible, because it's not about just making money. It's about celebrating your fandom and being afforded an opportunity to meet people that are either like-minded, or meeting celebrities that are, doing things that you enjoy, so they can feel the appreciation firsthand of their work, and so you can ooze your appreciation for what they've done with your favorite characters. That's what a Comic-Con is about to me, and I think to most people.
Community.
Yes, community. So when it becomes less about community and more about business, then you're losing sight of what the creation of it is supposed to be to begin with. Yeah,
that's true. Just everything becomes a business. Just like nostalgia, everything becomes a business. Hey, you guys want to see your favorite people? Pay fucking $300 for a ticket to come in and meet Stan Lee.
Right.
Then pay $60 for a picture with him.
Yeah.
I know that Stan Lee charging money for a picture that's money he's making versus
the con, yeah.
Yeah,
or you can go to a lesser known con where he's also going to appear, still pay $60 for a picture with him, but you only paid $10 to get in the door.
Yeah, exactly. On our Christmas episode, Viscount Terry W. Irvin commented twice. He said, an outstanding Christmas gift for your listeners. And he also said, a great Dueling Ogres Christmas tale, talking about the poem that we read,
right?
Or you read. What would an ogre do without a glaive? Well, maybe resort to his club. And then he has an amazing picture he photoshopped of a kind of monkey ogre guy. I didn't recognize what he's from, holding a glaive, and it says the Dueling Ogres Christmas Tale.
I didn't see that picture.
Oh, it's fantastic. We'll have to move it over to our fan art page.
Well, I just put it up on Instagram. I've kind of taken that bit out of the thing because I was putting them up on Instagram. So yeah, I'll have to put it up on Instagram.
And then Negalary commented as well, and he said, Rem's family mistletoe is still haunting me. Oedipus much? I fell asleep to the story at the end, then had nightmares about being turned over a spit. Not cool, guys. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's, guys.
I apparently
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you as well.
Yes, I apparently missed the last couple of comments on that.
I didn't see Larry's comment until I clicked to see the shout outs before we started recording.
Sometimes when I'm reading these things, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up because I woke up for some reason. So we also actually got an email from Kaiser.
Okay.
Episode 134. Been listening to your podcast during lunch breaks and to and from work. Cracking me up. The stuff at the end of 134 had me laughing heartily. Thank you. He also said that English Batman or Batbloke needs to be a recurring character. So,
It's Batbloke.
Yeah. So if you don't know what we're talking about and you want to get a taste of that, there's actually a quick video that I made as a follow-up where local comic book owner and podcast enemy Jordan Lowe gave me a snippet of a page from a Batman comic to read as Batbloke, and I did a little video of it. So find the little comic snippet and then swipe right and you'll see the video. I stole
what is that on?
On Instagram, on our Instagram. So I stole a bit of music, a bit of Danny Elfman music from the animated series and put it in the background and did it all at work one day while I was bored.
So DC, if you're listening and you want to sell Batbloke, Remington does the voice great. I'm just going to hang on to your coattails when you do Batbloke.
Yeah, that's fair. But they're actually they're gonna counter lawsuit us for me using the music there.
Shit.
Damn it.
They're going to force you into the DC mines and just make you do Batbloke.
Right.
Yeah.
Welcome to the mines.
What are you buying?
What are you buying? What are you selling?
I think that's just what Batbloke is.
What is that from?
Resident Evil 4.
That's right.
I'll buy that for a high price.
Oh, God, that's the best smarmy friggin' English accent ever. What are you buying? I don't honestly remember if we had any on Twitter or not. And we also have continuing conversation on our Discord. So if you'd like to get out on that, you can just go to the website, click into the Discord, and add me or add the Dueling Ogres as a friend, and I'll just approve you, and you can join our little ogre den.
Yeah, we're pretty active in there, actually.
Yeah, another thing that goes right to my phone, so I'm constantly responding.
Yeah, I had to turn off notifications after a while because I joined a couple Discord groups, and one of them has like multiple chat rooms that are always fucking blowing up and just vibrating my phone at all hours.
Yeah.
And so that was my good story for the day.
And you can also be sure to subscribe on our website, duelingogres.com, for news, shows, articles. If you want to write an article, email us. We can get you up there just for the heck of it. Share your nerddom with us. Be part of our community. Help us grow. Touch us the way that we want to touch you in a completely consensual fashion.
Yes.
We ask for permission to touch you. And finally, to be sure to leave us got a little weird there. I'm not even
going to comment on the weirdness of that one.
Yeah, got a little weird there. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or find us on the Find us on Yoo-hoo bottles. We just made a deal with Yoo-hoo. They're paying us a pittance for selling Yoo-hoo.
They're paying us in Yoo-hoos.
Yes, they're paying us in Yoo-hoos.
I fucking hate Yoo-hoos.
Ginger would probably
not a good deal.
Ginger would probably be okay with it. I think she likes Yoo-hoos, but she doesn't buy them. So maybe she doesn't.
Because it's just chocolate water. It's disgusting. Fuck you,
Yoo-hoo. And now we are no longer part of Yoo-hoo.
Damn. Sunrise, sunset.
But you can still find us on YouTube. You can subscribe, hit the little bell notification. That way you get told every time. You're going to get told every time we post a new episode.
Yeah, the big thing with YouTube, even if you don't really listen, if you go over and like us, once we get to, 100 likes, we can be youtube.com/duelingogres.
No. Do you even know how this works?
You have to have so many subscribers.
You have to have 10,000 views before you can get monetized again. And honestly, with the adpocalypse, the 2.0...
No, not to get monetized, to have your username, so it's youtube.com/duelingogres.
We do. It's youtube.com/C because it's a channel /duelingogres.
Oh, we have that already?
Yeah.
Oh.
But if you want to help... Huh?
All of the people that I listen to talk about how you need to have at least 100 before you can get that.
No, I was grandfathered in.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Still like us, but it's not as important as it was before.
Yeah. The only thing now is we need to reach 10,000 views of our videos before I can remonetize us. And the only reason why I would want to remonetize us is not because the Adpocalypse 2.0 that's continuing to go on, but moreover, so I can start putting backlinks back in to our website or to our shirts or whatever else that we can use to help offset the bleeding that takes me every month when I have to pay the bills for this thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, go throw on the every one of these episodes, go into a playlist. Just leave your computer on one night, set it on ×2, and just let it play in the background all night long.
Do you really want to hear me high pitched and faster?
I turn off your sound and let it play throughout the night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, rip off YouTube.
Yes.
Go online and rip them off for us.
That's right. They deserve it anyway.
Fuck you, who?
Fuck you. You can find us on Google Play Music too, as well as also other words that mean and so on.
Perfect, Remington.
So until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt
And your tusks sharp.
Good night. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more awkward, it is.
It did.
It did. And if you don't listen to the Dueling Ogres, I will find you, and I will kill you.
Where the drugs going, governor?
Where the drugs going, governor? Governor.
That's a little gift for Kaiser.
Yep, just for you, buddy.
Well, now I need a character.
You do. You need to be Robin Bloke.
Robin bloke?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. That bloke. Robin. Oh, you can be Robin. Oh, here I come, Bat Bloke. You better get over here, Robin. Robin.
Uh-oh, I'm Nightwing now.
Oh, bloody hell. Fine, you're retired. Get me a new Robin. It's not Robin.
my spandexes on my buttocks.
It's not Robin, it's Robin.
Robin?
Robin.
Rappin' Rodney.
No, Robin. Robin. I like it, and that's what I'm sticking with.
I feel like I need to workshop more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
I'll try to come next week with something.
You do you, Bo.
I'll try to come with a gentleman Riddler.
Ooh, I like it. Like a fancy.
Ooh.
Yeah, like a real fancy fancy Riddler. Yeah, I like it. Hello. He's a bit of a puffter.
Bit of a
He's a bit of a puffter, that one. It's
I
a
think
little
pufter's actually like
is an Australian slang. A puffter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd have to make Bat look a little more Australian, but
that's all right.
Yeah. I think a puff. I think was the British idiom for
a puff.
A puff. He's a bit of a puff, that one.
I don't know. Maybe our British or Australian listeners can let us know if pufter's actually like a really bad insult or just like a kind of archaic insult.
I think it's kind of archaic because I think there was. I mean, the first time that I ever heard pufta used was
Monty Python, the Bruce sketch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a pufta? Are you a pufta?
Rule 1. No
puftas. Rule 2. Bruce, and myself here have come to sing you a song.
Man, I'm going to have to listen to that after I hang up.
Yeah.
That's a good sketch.
Yeah, it is. This is the Australian, what was it? They were all
Australian Philosophers Club?
Yeah, Australian philosophers.
Australian Bruces if you search it on YouTube.
What is it?
If you go on YouTube and just search Australian Bruces, you'll find it.
Oh, yeah.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber.
Are you singing Kesha again?
I can't help it. I saw your face and it made me want to sing Kesha. I moved my mic to the other side of my laptop, so I'll be more likely to lean in this way instead of the other way.
Okay. Cool. There's my mic. It's lost in the darkness of my shirt.
Cool.
Yeah, you should do that all the time. Just be right up on it. I want to hear all your clicks and pops.
Hello, Ogres.
So bad.
Welcome to Dueling Ogres. Yeah.
It's so bad.
Was that pretty disgusting?
It was not good. No bueno. I don't care about that one. I mean, you'll probably be leading the pack on this because I starred a lot of articles, but I didn't get a chance to read them. So, preparedness.
Ram.
I know. Whenever I breathe this one in through my nose, it kind of reminds me of a urinal cake.
Like the taste?
Like the smell. Only without all the piss.
What flavor's the juice?
Hawk juice.
I was really hoping you were going to use that moment to say urinal cake.
I know.
Hawk juice. Oh, you've been using hawk juice for a while, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you haven't seen Star Wars yet, right?
No. Have you? Oh, yes, you did.
Yes.
Where'd you find it?
Online, on the internet.
Did you download it?
No, I just searched Last Jedi streaming and found a streaming site. It was a handy cam. It was a place like in like Mexico or Portugal or something. Somebody just holding a camera and filming it. So it really gave you the experience because at some point somebody stands up and walks in front of the screen.
Yeah.
People laugh along with stuff, so you know when to laugh.
That's good. So you had a built-in laugh track.
Yeah.
That's nice. What did the people do?
There was a moment something happens in the movie that me and somebody in the audience both simultaneously went, what?
Was it when there was like a full solid 10 seconds of silence?
No, it was, I don't want to give anything away, but something happens that's kind of dumb.
Is it when Luke kills and eats that bush monkey?
No, that's done pretty well.
Okay.
No, but it does involve Luke in a big bush.
So, I mean, there's more than just training going on that little island, is there?
Yeah, I mean, there's apparently not razors in this world. Because everybody's just 70s style.
They really took Star Wars The Last Jedi in a different direction, didn't they?
Yeah, seriously. Daisy Ridley takes off her pants and it looks like the Australian outback down there. I swear to God, it's on alligator tail. Don't mind that.
Glad I started the recording already.
No, I wish you'd seen it so we could go into it and talk spoilers because I want to talk The Last Jedi.
I want to too, but I haven't seen it, Brandon.
I'm definitely going to give I'm definitely going to give my impressions of Last Jedi.
My face is really
white.
Whoa. It's a little racist, don't you think?
It looks super duper white on my screen.
Well, that's because there's a white light shining at me. I mean...
Now you're purple.
There you go. Is that better?
Yes. What are you trying to find? A clue? Never broke eye contact.
Where the fuck? Oh, there it is. Where's my mind gone?
Way out in the water. See it swimming.
Huh. My remote battery must be dead.
No.
Yeah, somebody probably sat something on top of it.
The dog.
The soul. My nose. Itching. Notoriously. Oh, let's do... There, how's that? Now I have a sickly green tint.
It still looks purpley.
You look purpley.
Now it's green. Now it's purple. Green and purple. Do you just have a purple head normally?
I'm like Two-Face. One side of my face is always disgusting and purple.
I'm not even paying attention, so you're doing this solely for yourself right now.
I am. That shouldn't be a push. That shouldn't be a push button at all. Why, that shouldn't be a push button at all.
Ah.
Brandon.
Ah.
Brandon. Wah. Wah. I want to have sex with your boobies.
I feel like that's worked for you before.
It has.
Just delivering it exactly like that.
Yeah.
Let's not put that one in the outtakes.
Things I'm not going to leave in the outtakes. Although I may leave the illusion in that I said something that I shouldn't have.
That you what?
I may leave in the illusion that I said something that I shouldn't have.
With a well-timed beep?
Yeah.
A bleep or a bloop?
Bleep bloop. Okay. Whenever you're ready, Freddy. That was gross.
I'm ready.
Okay. Dialogue, but what? What are you talking about? Where does encounter the problem? Where don't encounter problems?
Ram.
Fucking word. End is nigh. Hello, ogres. Shit fucker. You shit fucker.
I forgot how much of a delay there was. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Butterfree.
We're ghosts. Yeah, you're gonna know that they're new and they haven't been played. Sorry, my lips got in my way. Manuel Kant was a real pissant who was very rarely stable. Heidegger was a boozy beggar who could think you under the table. David Hume could outconsume Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. And Wittgenstein was a berry swine who was just as sloshed as Schlegel. There's nothing nature couldn't teach about the raising of the wrist. Socrates himself was permanently pissed. John Stuart Mill, of his own free will, on a half-a-punch shadow was particularly ill. Plato, they say, could stick it away. Half-crate whiskey every day. Aristotle was a bugger for the bottle. Hobbes was fond of his dram. And René Descartes was a drunken fart. I drink, therefore I am. Socrates himself is particularly missed. I love a little thing about a bugger when he's pissed.